Welcome everyone, get ready for an amazing trip to some of the most awesome Buddhist temples in China. These old buildings are full of history and peace, and they show us what Chinese Buddhism is all about. From tall pagodas to detailed carvings, every temple has tons of stories to tell. We'll travel all over China, from huge mountains to busy cities, to find these special places. Imagine smelling sweet incense, hearing monks chanting softly, and feeling totally calm as you walk into these holy spots. Come with us as we explore these amazing buildings, learn about their cool history, and see how important they are to Chinese culture. We'll even talk about where they are and how you can visit them yourself. High up in the Song Mountains, we find the famous Shaolin Temple. Built a long time ago, this temple isn't just for praying, it's where Shaolin Kung Fu started. Here, surrounded by nature, monks have practiced martial arts for centuries. Their moves show how disciplined and spiritual they are. The temple grounds are full of history and cool buildings. The pagoda forest, with its hundreds of stone pagodas, is like a memorial to past leaders of the temple. As we walk around, we can almost hear the monks practicing and the stories of emperors who came here looking for wisdom. Now we're going south to the beautiful city of Hangzhou, to the peaceful Lingyin Temple. Surrounded by bamboo forests and near the West Lake, this temple is super calming. Built a long time ago, it has seen many emperors and dynasties come and go. Inside, we find amazing Buddhist art and statues. The Hall of the Four Heavenly Kings welcomes you with its giant guardians, and the carvings on the pillars tell stories from Buddhist books. As we walk around, we see people praying, and you can really feel their devotion. Let's go to the top of the world, to Tibet. Here, in Lhasa, is the Jokhang Temple. Built a long time ago, it's the holiest place in Tibetan Buddhism. People travel from all over the Himalayas to come here. The air is thin, and the sun is bright, shining on the temple's golden roofs. Inside it smells like yak butter lamps, and you can hear people praying. Pilgrims, some who have walked for weeks, bow down to the statues. It feels like time stops here, and you can feel the history and spirituality. Now we're at the White Horse Temple in Luoyang. This temple is super important because it's where Buddhism first came to China a long time ago. The story goes that an emperor had a dream and sent people west to find Buddhist writings. They came back with two monks from India and writings carried on a white horse, which is how the temple got its name. Today, the White Horse Temple shows how long Buddhism has been in China. In the old capital city of Xi'an, we find the Big Wild Goose Pagoda. It's a really tall building that shows how strong faith can be. Built a long time ago, it was used to keep Buddhist writings brought from India by a famous monk named Xuanzang. The pagoda has 7 levels, and you can see the whole city from the top. As we climb the steps, we can almost feel Xuanzang's dedication to Buddhism. The pagoda isn't just for storing books, it's a symbol of how China and India shared their cultures. Carved into the cliffs by the Yi River are the Longmen Grottos. These caves are full of Buddhist art, with thousands of statues and carvings. It took many artists many years to make these amazing works of art. As we walk through the caves, we see all kinds of Buddhist images, from peaceful Buddhas to scary guardians. Each carving tells a story. Let's go up Wutai Mountain, one of the 4 holy mountains of Chinese Buddhism. This mountain, with its 5 flat tops, is said to be the home of Manjushri, who represents wisdom. People have come here for centuries looking for wisdom and blessings. As we walk up the mountain, we see lots of temples and monasteries. It's very quiet except for the sound of prayer flags in the wind. It feels very peaceful. In Chengde, we find the Putuo Zongcheng Temple, a really big and beautiful temple built a long time ago. It looks like the Potala Palace in Lhasa, which shows how much the emperors respected Tibetan Buddhism. The temple's golden roofs shine in the sun, and the carvings and paintings are amazing. As we walk around, we can almost hear the prayers of the emperors who came here. On the southern tip of Hainan Island, where the rainforest meets the ocean, is the Nanshan Temple. This big temple has a huge statue of Guanyin, who represents compassion. It shows how Buddhism and nature can go together. As we walk around, we smell incense in the salty air. The sound of the waves is calming and we hear monks chanting. It's a beautiful and peaceful place. Now we're at Famen Temple, a very special place for Buddhists. Inside a beautiful pagoda is a relic of the Buddha, a finger bone. When this was discovered a long time ago, it was big news, and people came from all over Asia to see it. Today, the temple shows how strong faith can be. Inside the pagoda, it feels very holy and historical. In the grasslands of Gansu province is the Labrang Monastery, one of the 6 great monasteries of the Gelug school of Tibetan Buddhism. Built a long time ago, it's a busy center for learning and practicing Tibetan Buddhism. Thousands of monks live here, and there are many important books and objects. As we walk through the halls and courtyards, we see and hear what life is like for Tibetan Buddhists. It smells like incense and yak butter lamps, and the monks are chanting. It feels very spiritual. Built on the side of a cliff is the Hanging Temple. It's an amazing example of how clever people can be and how strong faith is. Built a long time ago, it looks like it's floating in the air. As we carefully walk through the temple, we have amazing views of the valley below. The Hanging Temple shows what people can do when they believe in something strongly. Even in busy Shanghai, there are quiet places. The Jade Buddha Temple is one of them. Built in the late 1800s, this temple has 2 beautiful Buddha statues made of white jade. They look very peaceful. Inside the temple, the city noise disappears. You hear wind chimes and soft prayers. Even in a busy city, you can find peace here. Near Lhasa, on the side of a mountain, is Drepung Monastery. It used to be the biggest monastery in the world. Built a long time ago, it was a very important place for Tibetan Buddhist learning, and thousands of monks lived there. Today it's still a place where people come to pray and study. As we walk through the huge monastery, we can feel its history. We can hear monks talking about the scriptures, which shows how important learning is here. In Qinghai province is the Tair Monastery. It's a beautiful mix of Tibetan and Han Chinese building styles. Built a long time ago, it's full of golden roofs, colorful prayer flags, and amazing paintings. As we look around, we see how skilled the artists were and all the symbols they used. The monastery shows how Tibetans and Han Chinese have lived together peacefully for many years. In Guangzhou, a very busy city, is the Guangshao Temple. It's like a peaceful hideaway. Built a long time ago, it's one of the oldest and most important Buddhist temples in southern China. When you walk through the gates, you feel like you've gone back in time. It smells like incense and you can hear the monks chanting. It's a very peaceful and respectful place. In Beijing, we find the Yonghe Temple, also called the Lama Temple. It's a beautiful Tibetan Buddhist temple built a long time ago. It used to be where Tibetan lamas lived and studied. Inside, we see amazing Tibetan Buddhist art and architecture. There are statues of Buddhas, and the walls are covered with paintings that tell stories about the Buddha's life. The Yonghe Temple shows how many different cultures and religions have shaped China's history. In Chengdu, the city of pandas, is the Zhaozhui Temple, a quiet place in the busy city. This old temple, built a long time ago, has been a place for learning and practicing Buddhism for over 1,000 years. Inside, it smells like incense, and you hear gentle chanting. The temple is decorated with beautiful carvings and statues, showing how important Buddhist art and tradition are. Near a mountain and the East China Sea is the Nanpuchuo Temple. It's a place where nature and Buddhism come together. Built over 1,000 years ago, people have come here for a long time to find peace. As we walk around, we see the beautiful mountains and the ocean. The sound of the waves is calming and we hear monks chanting and wind chimes. Near Chengdu is the Baoguang Temple, which has a very old pagoda that has been there for 1,000 years. This old temple shows how long Buddhist buildings have lasted and how strong faith can be. The pagoda is really tall, with 13 levels. The detailed wood carvings are amazing. High up on Wutai Mountain is Xiantong Temple, the highest temple on the mountain. Built a very long time ago, it's been a place people visit for over 2,000 years. Inside, it's grand and the views are spectacular. There are intricate carvings, colorful paintings, and golden statues showing the power of Buddhist art and faith. On the coast of Fujian province is the Guanghua Temple. It's a beautiful temple and shows the area's history with the ocean. Built over 1,000 years ago, it's been a place for sailors and fishermen to find peace. Inside, it smells like incense in the sea. There are carvings, paintings, and statues that show how Buddhist and Taoist beliefs sometimes mix together. In Nanjing, which used to be China's capital, is the Qixia Temple. It's a 1,000-year-old place to relax on Qixia Mountain. Built a long time ago, people have come here to escape the city. As we walk up to the temple, we see lots of trees and hear birds singing. The air is fresh and feels good. In the old walled city of Pingyao is the Shuanglin Temple, which is like stepping back in time to the Ming Dynasty. The temple has over 2,000 carved statues, each one a work of art. As we walk around, we see all kinds of Buddhist figures, from peaceful Buddhas to strong guardians. It's like seeing what people believed and how artists worked during the Ming Dynasty. Near Nanjing, at the foot of the Purple Mountain, is Linggu Temple, a place where history and spirituality meet. Built a long time ago, it has seen over 1,500 years of Chinese history, including wars and different dynasties. Inside, it feels calm and peaceful. There are carvings, paintings, and statues that show how important Buddhism is in China. In Datong, famous for its Yungang grottos, is the Huayan Temple, a hidden gem of Buddhist art. Built over 1,000 years ago, it's been a place for learning and practicing Buddhism for centuries. Inside the main hall, there's a huge statue of the 5 wisdom Buddhas, and the walls have colorful paintings that tell stories about the Buddha's life. The colors are still bright after all these years. In the mountains near Beijing is Jiatai Temple, a peaceful place to relax. Built a long time ago, people have come here from the city to connect with nature and their spirituality. As we walk up to the temple, we see lots of plants and hear birds. The air feels fresh and good. Tucked away in Beijing is Guangji Temple. Built a long time ago, it's famous for its amazing Buddhist statues, some over 800 years old. In the main hall, there are over 500 clay sculptures of Buddhist arhats, who are enlightened beings. Each one is different. Near Beijing, at the foot of the Western Hills, is Fahai Temple, famous for its beautiful Ming Dynasty paintings. These paintings, made a long time ago, cover the walls and show stories about the Buddha's life and other Buddhist figures. The colors are still bright and the details are amazing. In the mountains near Beijing is Yunju Temple, a big complex that has kept Buddhist writings for over 1,000 years. Built during the Tang Dynasty, it has some of the oldest Buddhist writings in the world. As we walk around, we can feel the history and all the knowledge inside. Yunju Temple shows how important it is to keep these teachings safe. West of Beijing is Tanzi Temple, a big and old temple. Its name means Temple of the Pool and Zi Tree, because of a special spring and an old tree there. Inside, it feels calm. We hear monks chanting and smell sandalwood incense. Tanzi Temple shows how spirituality and nature can go together. In Beijing, the white dagoba of Miaoying Temple is a symbol of peace. Built a long time ago, this Tibetan-style building looks different from other Chinese buildings. Inside, it's calm. There are beautiful paintings on the walls that tell stories from Buddhist writings, and it smells like incense. In southwestern Beijing is Faiyuan Temple, a very old Buddhist temple. It's been a place for learning and translating Buddhist texts for a long time. It has survived fires, earthquakes, and political problems. Today, it's still a place where people worship and study. Even in busy Beijing, there are quiet places like Guanghua Temple. Built a long time ago, it has seen a lot of history. Inside, the city noise disappears. You hear wind chimes and smell incense. It shows that even in a city, you can find peace. Jiwa Temple is full of beautiful wood carvings from the Ming Dynasty. Built without any nails, this amazing building has lasted for over 500 years. Inside, it feels like you've gone back in time. It smells like sandalwood incense, and you hear monks chanting. It feels very peaceful and spiritual. In Beijing, the tall pagoda of Tianning Temple is a symbol of Buddhism. Built a long time ago, it's one of the oldest and tallest pagodas in China. You can see the whole city from the top. Inside, the main hall has a giant Buddha statue carved from one piece of sandalwood. It looks very peaceful. In western Beijing is Shihuang Temple, also called the Western Yellow Temple. It feels mysterious. Built a long time ago, it was a place for Tibetan Buddhist practice, and emperors used to come here. Inside it feels calm and historical. The colorful halls have paintings and statues and show how Tibet and China shared culture. In Beijing, Guangji Temple shows the city's history with Buddhism. Built a long time ago, it has survived wars and changes. Today, people still come here to worship and find peace in the busy city. In western Beijing is Wanshou Temple, also called the Temple of Longevity. It's a peaceful place with lots of trees. Built during the Ming Dynasty, emperors came here to pray for long life and good health. Today, people still enjoy its peaceful atmosphere and beautiful buildings. It smells like incense, and wind chimes make a calming sound. In northwestern Beijing is Zhenjue Temple, also called the Temple of True Awakening. It shows the city's Tibetan Buddhist history. Built a long time ago, it was a place for Tibetan Buddhist practice, and emperors came here for spiritual advice. Inside, it feels calm and historical. The colorful halls with paintings and statues make you feel peaceful. Even in modern Beijing, old places of faith still exist. Guanghua Temple, over 700 years old, shows how important Buddhism is in China. Inside, it feels calm. It smells like incense, and you hear monks chanting. It's a peaceful place in the busy city. Zhihua Temple shows how clever the Ming Dynasty builders were. Built without nails, its wooden structure has lasted for over 500 years. Inside, the carvings and history are amazing. It's a beautiful building and shows the power of human creativity and faith. The tall pagoda of Tianning Temple is a symbol of Buddhism in Beijing. Built a long time ago, it's one of the oldest and tallest pagodas in China. You can see amazing views of the city from the top. As you climb the steps, you feel awe and wonder and remember China's Buddhist history. In Beijing, Shihuang Temple, also called the Western Yellow Temple, shows the city's Tibetan Buddhist history. Built a long time ago, it was a place for Tibetan Buddhist practice, and emperors came here for spiritual advice. Inside, it feels calm and smells like incense. The colorful halls with paintings and statues make you feel peaceful. Even in busy Beijing, Guangji Temple is a peaceful place. Built a long time ago, it has survived wars and changes. Today, people still come here to worship and find peace in the city. In western Beijing is Wanshou Temple, also called the Temple of Longevity. It's a peaceful place with lots of trees. Built during the Ming Dynasty, emperors came here to pray for long life and good health. Today, people still enjoy its peaceful atmosphere and beautiful buildings. It smells like incense, and wind chimes make a calming sound.